I want to have this picture as the background when I speak, because I think that often we don't know what direction we're taking, but in hindsight we realize that we probably chose the right road. And so I'm going to share some personal reflections about 3 breaking points or milestones in my life and career that had led to my current work that is about achieving change in society. And my first milestone is taking me 25 years back to this very place, to Moscow. That was a long time ago, and I was a kid then, and it was my first visit to Russia. And it was also the starting point for my embarkment on the Trans-Siberian Railway. I traveled with my mom, I traveled with a group of tourists, but I was the only one in the group that knew a few words in Russian. And I was probably the one with the most curiosity. I was entering the Trans-Siberian train loaded with curiosity about what would I see. I was curious about what are the people that are on the same train as me. And I was very curious whether they would understand me if I started to speak to them. And so, with that curiosity, I took the courage and spoke to people on that train. And I asked them questions, and they responded very warmly. I understood about half of what they said, so I don't know really what direction the conversations took. But I did realize that there was an enormous value in daring to step into meetings with people I didn't know. And that journey for me was not only an exotic tour into a new country, it was really also my first opportunity to use the curiosity and use the courage to go into the conversations with strangers that leave you with much deeper impressions than just passing by views that can pass through the window of a plane or a train. Now, taking a fast forward through my career, I studied to become an engineer. So for a couple of years, I was surrounded by engineering students talking about engineering. Then I spent a few years respectively in strategy management consultancy, then government agency in Sweden, and then in the UN system. And there I was surrounded with business economists, with government officials, and with development specialists. Each group looking at the other groups with quite a bit of suspicion, and everyone, wherever I was, looking at me with quite a bit of suspicion and fascination, asking like, how was it over there? Or, why do you want to go there? And so, when I by accident ended up with the Tellberg Foundation, that was my second milestone, and now I'm rushing. The Tellberg Foundation is really a hybrid organization. It's a very mixed team, and it's an organization that is mixing local presence with global activity. This picture is from the village Tellberg. In this village, the foundation has for 30 years been bringing leaders from all over the world and from all parts of the society. So presidents, CEOs, scientists, journalists, activists, sharing experiences with each other and sharing ideas and gaining new insights and new ideas and gaining partnerships and leaving these meetings with ideas and possibilities to do things differently. And I've realized that this is actually possible to do on a global level. But now I'm realizing more and more. Sorry, I want to step up one more thing that what this is actually doing. It's using very much the same principles as the Impact Hub, because it's taking a mix of people into a new kind of place and bringing them into a process that is different from others, from our normal discussions. It's really exactly like community, content, and space of the hub. But now going into my third breaking point, which is taking place right now. What I see happening on the global level in our meetings with leaders from all over society. When I look at Stockholm, which is where I live and work, I see that those meetings do not take place. I see that IT managers are in one area of town and talking with each other. I see artistic directors in one area talking with each other. I see leaders of young youth groups in troubled neighborhoods in one area, not talking to anyone else. I see all these groups, I see leaders in these groups who are really important in society, but they're staying within their isolated group, which is feeding xenophobia, unfortunately, prejudices, but even more so, it's hindering a lot of opportunities, a lot of creativity. And so my embarkment on a new journey now is to see what happens when we bring leaders from groups that never meet, although they live within walking distance from each other. What happens when you mix groups, not talking about integration, but being an integrated group, and not talking about differences, but bringing very different perspectives and experiences. That is what I think can be a new kind of achieving impact. Conversations with new people about important things rather than conversations about already discussed things with your old friends. And I think those kinds of conversations, it's the kind of action that is actually having an impact. And so what this is my focus going forward the next probably 2 or 3 years, doing the leadership program that helps leaders in the local community to actually realize that they can learn so much from people who are just very different. So with that, thank you very much.